Hello there and welcome to AdyCraft. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build this awesome sheriff's office in a Wild West theme with attached jailhouse. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. And let's get on with the video. Let's have a look at the blocks we're going to be using. So we're going to be using the acacia logs, we're going to be using the acacia wood, which is the one with the ends. We're going to be using stripped acacia and some acacia planks and some signs. Then for oak, we're going to be using the oak logs. We're going to be using some oak planks, stairs and slabs. Then for the jailhouse, we're going to be using some cobblestone, some gravel and some grey concrete. And then for the roof and the floor of the build, we are going to be using some andesite slabs and some polished andesite slabs as well. Then we've also got some other extra bits that we're going to be adding on, which are some spruce fences, some jungle fences and fence gates. Again, if you don't have access to jungle wood, then you can switch that out for a different type of wood if you wish. Some oak trapdoors, stone or wooden buttons. I'm going to be using stone buttons in this. Iron bars, of course. What jail would be complete without those? Some iron doors, some beds, a couple of hoppers, a couple of clay flower pots. Then finally we have a cauldron, a smoker, some andesite walls, a couple of campfires, and some lanterns to light the build up. For this build, you'll also need some banners to mark out that this is the sheriff's office. So I'll very quickly show you how to do these. These are all going to be red banners. So first of all, take a red banner, and then you want the backslash type thing, which is the black bend. You want the black chief, then you want the black base, and finally we're going to put a piece of red dye in, and we're going to put the red bordure, and then you've got the S. Next banner we have is the H, and again pretty simple here. So put your black dye in, you start here and you have the black pale dexter, then the black pale sinister, and then across the black fess across the middle, and then a piece of red dye just again with the border. The E is a little bit different, so for this we're going to be doing first of all one piece of black dye and the black fess across the middle. Then you go to the red dye and put in a red pale sinister, then straight to the black dye again, and then a pale dexter, and then finally for the black top, and then finish off with, nearly did the F there, that's the F, the bottom half as well, and finish off now with the border. The R is pretty simple in fact, so we start off with the pale dexter, then we go for the black bend, then we come down here for the black perfess, and lastly again the border. The I is the chief in the black for all of these, the base, and finally the pale before, yeah, you guessed it, the border, and then we've got that, and finally the F. No prizes for guessing how to do this one, just based on the fact that I did it earlier for that. So we start out with the fess, we take a piece of red dye and we get the pale sinister to get that back into the right shape, then the chief at the top, before going to the pale dexter, and finally the border. And you do that one twice, or you put it into a crafting table and put a blank banner next to it, and that gives you all of the letters. So you need S, H, E, R, I, and 2 Fs. For the build, it's going to be 9 wide for the main building by 11 deep, and then with an extra 4 by 9, just that 4 starting at the back of the build and coming forward. And then for the veranda, leaving as many blocks from the road as you want. I'm going to be using 2 blocks for the veranda. You want at least 2 blocks so that you can put the fences in, but you could go wider if you wished. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to start by just putting some acacia logs at each of the corners. And then we're going to take the cobblestone from this edge and we're going to build around, not past, around the edge of the jailhouse, right the way as far as here. And then we are now going to start filling this in with some andesite. Once you fill the andesite in there, we are going to place some acacia logs across here to link up these pillars, all running along the ground, which is why you put the pillars in first, so you've got something to place against. And then we're going to fill this in with oak planks rather. Once you've filled those in, we're going to knock out this middle block. So you've got a doorway through right in the middle, so it's 3 and then 3 on either side. And then we're going to start placing some slabs. Now this is slabs because you want to be able to see underneath this little bit of boardwalk. So we're going to place all of these along the front. And then on this corner, we're going to skip one and then place them again all the way back. And what we're going to do in that corner is just come around to the side and place a stair going down just to link it into the ground. Same the other side. And lastly, just I'm having this coming out onto the road. You can have it laid back as well, just to step up into the build. And that's the base of the build. To show how high the build's going to be, we're going to come up here at the back corner first of all. 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to come up at this corner at 7 as well. 7, so that's now level. Then we're going to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to come up 2 more and finish this off with a wood. So again, you've got the nice top on there. And that gives you the height, the basic height of the build. Next, we're going to start filling in the walls. So we're then going to take the acacia planks and we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, skip 1 for a window that's going to be there, and do the same on the other side. And then round these walls, we're going to come all the way along and we're going to leave a 1 gap there for a window, but a 2 gap at the front, and come all the way along. At the back, we're simply going to fill all of this up 3 high. Next, we're just in this 1 little gap, we're going to come up 3, and then we're going to start connecting things up using our acacia logs. Now we're going to start on the jailhouse, so we're going to come up with acacia logs just on the inside here, and then we're going to fill in a layer of cobble all the way around. Then in the middle, we're going to leave a gap for some windows. We're going to leave a gap here for some windows with 2 blocks either side, so 3 in the middle here, and then repeat the same on the other side, so you've got a gap, and then fill all the way across. And then we're going to fill in 2 blocks here and 2 blocks here. For the second story, we're going to start by coming up 1, 2, 3. No windows at the back of this property at all, but you could add some if you wanted. And then we're going to come along and fill in the windows here, but this time the windows are going to be even. So we're going to come in, leave a gap, move across 3, come in, leave a gap and move across 3. At the front, it's something slightly different. So we're going to place the first line of blocks along the bottom, then we're going to come up to, leave a gap, come up to, leave a gap, up to, leave a gap. So we've got 3 double height windows here, and then we're going to fill in this 2 layers Then the middle 3 blocks, we're going to come up and fill an additional layer of 3 blocks here. Finishing off the front, we're going to take the wood and we're going to come up 2 on either side of this bit. Then we're going to link up the edge and link up the middle. This one side that we've missed, we're going to mirror the other side exactly. Finally, to finish off the roof, we're going to come up 1. That's just a junk block for now though, so that we can place in the right direction. And then we're going to come up along all this way, but leaving these 2 corner blocks and leaving this inside block as well. And then we're going to have 1 more block here in the center. Next, we're going to add some detail and texture to the outside. So first, take your dark oak trapdoors and we're going to place 1 of these either side of every window on both sides. So here, for example, let's get that the same direction. We're going to do this and we're going to do that all the way around the build. Next, we're going to add a little bit of texture to the building, so we're going to do this using our stripped acacia logs. And wherever you see fit, basically just knock out a block and add a stripped acacia log instead. It can be anywhere that you want really, but make sure that they all go in the same direction. So I'm just going to be doing this right the way on the front of the build, and then on each of the sides as well, with all of these, just to add a little bit more visual interest so that it's not just one flat colour. To add some more detail to the build itself, we're going to be placing just some blank signs, and we're going to do that on the actual acacia just to look like there's planks that are a little bit thicker. However, make sure that you leave this first full layer because we're going to need that empty, because that's going to be where we're going to be placing our banners. But anywhere else, just feel free to dot these about. For this final side, however, you can only place these on the middle set of blocks because we're going to have the roof of the jail and the roof of the building actually happening. So anything there and there, for example, you can place them. Next, we're going to finish off the structure of the jail. So coming inside, there's going to be a 2-high doorway here. So we're going to connect that up with cobble, and then again a 2-high doorway and connect that up with cobble for the 2 bits of the jail. And then we're going to come up right the way to the roof with this, and then join the 2 up. Next, we're going to fill in the iron bars on the windows all the way around and start on the roof itself. So when you've got this, we're going to take our andesite slabs and we're going to place it as a top slab along here, and we're going to come out on both sides one past. Then next we're going to bring these on top, but we're going to have a bottom, so it looks like there's a full block, but it's the 2 half slabs all the way along, and bring this out on this side as well. And next we're going to be placing a full course of the full blocks right the way through, and then similar to before, we're going to place a slab for the top and then one on top of that, and then run this all the way across. The final thing is just the full andesite course right the way across the top here and out to the side. Finally, for the jail, we don't want it to just be a cobble block box, so we're going to knock out some of these and put some of the light grey concrete in just for a bit of block variety. You can use other things like stone, but personally in this texture pack and in general I quite like the light grey concrete. So we'll fill these in every so often. And the other block that we're going to use is some gravel. Obviously you can't place it down like that, but when you do place it, it again makes it look nice and weathered. within here. So just put those wherever you wish within the build itself. Now we're going to finish off the front of the build. So what I have done is left a block there. So we've got 2 high door here. And what we're going to do is place a dark oak door. You can choose any door that you want. I think the dark oak looks nice with the other dark oak. Then we're going to place either side of the door. We're going to come up 2. And then 2 at the edge here as well. On both the sides. And 1 more, in fact, it is. It's actually 3 that we need to come up. And what we're then going to do is connect these up using some fence gates. So 1 fence gate there, 1 fence gate there. Leave the one in the middle, a fence gate here and a fence gate here. And that's going to allow us to then put our roof on, our canopy roof. So that is going to come all the way along as top slabs here, and then on the bottom, on top of these, we're going to connect up. To finish off the outside, just pop some glass in each of the windows. You can use the clear, but I've chosen to do the white just because it gives a bit of a better contrast. And then inside the build, we're going to start putting the roof on. So get your oak logs, come in 1 block from the side and come all the way along the roof, right the way to the end, on both sides. Next, come out 2 blocks and then come across only as far as this on the back of the build, because there's going to be a stairway going up there. But on the front of the build, again, you come across 2 blocks above the window and then just link it right the way across. And then we're going to fill in the gaps using some oak slabs, but we're going to place them as bottom, well, as top slabs, so you can walk on them upstairs. But we're going to leave this gap, however, for now, because like I say, that's going to be the stairway. To put the stairway in, we are going to come level with the window, step across 1 and 2 blocks, and then start the stairway here. And then we're going to place it going up the inside there. And then this final block gap, we're going to put in a slab, and then underneath the stair, to give it some structure, we're going to then connect that up. To finish off the downstairs, we're going to take some of our spruce. This is spruce this time. Fences, and we're going to connect these up as pillars holding up the ceiling, right the way at each of these cross beams. Upstairs, we are going to take the edge of this block and start placing the oak again across, right the way from one end to the other. So this is above the window. And then we're going to put in these cross beams again, only in the middle though, because otherwise it will interfere with the roof itself. So we're going to link these up in the middle and put the spruce fences again at these intersections. The final thing up here, we're going to add a little balustrade around the actual around the stairway so people don't fall, and I'm going to be using the jungle fences to connect these up. The final thing for the inside of this before we start on the roof is just to take the oak slabs and fill in again as we have done downstairs, but only the middle sections. Leave the 2 edge sections because we're going to come to those in a second. And then that is the ceiling of the downstairs and the upstairs complete. Now the roof is going to have the same pitch that it has downstairs. On this one, I should have mentioned earlier that on the roof you can't actually have on this side anything on this lower block either. So we're going to be placing some top slabs here right the way through and across, and then 1 here, and we're going to, just do one side and then we'll mirror it. This side we're going to come along all the way on top of these blocks. Here is going to be slightly different because we've got the inside. We're going to place just the half slabs here at the top so that there's an indentation, and then at the end we're just going to use 2 full blocks. Then here we have again the bottom, and we come right the way across the top, and here we are going to be using the full blocks, and we'll just mirror that for the other side. Once you've done the two sides, the peak of the roof is just going to be done using andesite polished slabs rather than the regular ones, and that's just going to fill these bits in here all the way across. On the inside, the two things that I am going to be covering here in this tutorial are a little stove, so you've got a smoker on top of a cauldron, and then you've got an andesite wall for a chimney that goes right the way up through to the roof, which we're going to have coming out in a second. And then the interior of each of the cells. So I'll just do one and you just mirror this on the other side. So you put in a little bed here, you put in a little shelf with the oak slab there, and then on top of that you can put a little plant pot for a little drink, and then just a toilet which is going to be a hopper in the floor. And the final thing that you need to do, which you'll need to do this and then break your way out, unfortunately, is to just add in an iron door and a button so that you can open it. To finish off the chimney, we're going to come up to the roof, and then we're going to count one block in from the edge. So you've got the edge 1, 2 blocks in. We're going to come in a further 2 blocks. So this here is where we want it to be. We're going to be placing 2 cobble, and then on top of that we're going to place a campfire and surround that on all sides with some trapdoors. I'm using the oak here, but you can use the spruce if you prefer. The other final thing that we're going to do is connect things up by using some buttons to make things seem like the wood ties are hammered through to lock the actual build together. We're going to do that all the way around and at the front as well, on all of the corners, just as a bit more visual interest. And here we're going to do it level with this window here and above, here and above as well. The very last thing to do is just add the banners for the lettering. I just switched the buttons out from the stone to some acacia buttons just because it gives a bit of a better contrast and ties in with the theme better. And now we're going to put all of our banners, SHE, R, I, and then 2 Fs in here, and then that's the exterior of the build finished. The build's now complete, so I'll just give you a quick run round of it with the default textures on. So as you can see, it still looks fantastic when you put the default textures on there. There are some blocks that you may want to change. If you're using the default where you've got the concrete, for example, you might want to switch that out for something else just because concrete is very, very smooth. But aside from that, if we take a quick look inside as well, I'll run through the inside in a bit more detail in a second. But yeah, everything looks fantastic. So just a quick look upstairs, and yeah, just to show the build does work really, really well in the vanilla textures for you. Now to show the build in the shaders and run through the interior. So I'm not doing a block by block of the interior, but I'll run through the basics. What I've got here is a bit of a table. Then we've got a pressure plate with a book on there in an item frame. Everything inside is also completely mob proof. The lowest light levels are 8. In here, what I have done is just put a lamp in the middle of the ceiling and then built the ceiling down to match up with that. You can just leave the ceiling open if you preferred, but I just wanted to do this for the interior. So yeah, everything that you need for a survival base down there, and then up here we've got a bit of a furnace array, just a little bed, a little desk, and some more storage, and then a lovely seat so that you can stare out over the mesa or wherever you choose to build this. And yeah, with the shaders on as always, and with the sun coming in through those windows, it looks fantastic. And now we'll just have a quick look at the exterior of the build. And all that's left to really be said is thank you very, very much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please do make sure that you leave a like. It really, really does help the video. Please do leave a comment as well if you've enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see any future videos in this series or any of the other series that I do. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on ADcraft.